Tron cabinet reviews, Thumbgate, how Turtles in Time being on sale could be a bad thing. Also, special guest Justin from Console Kiss. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Another episode of This Week, the show that we talk about what happened last week and look forward to what's going to happen next week and maybe even the weeks beyond. Hope everybody's having a great holiday week. I guess weekend, long weekend maybe here in the States. Thanksgiving was Thursday, and we're wrapping it up. Unfortunately, we got to go back to work, don't we? Got to make that money to afford all these crazy arcades coming out from Arcade 1-Up and others. Tonight's bourbon. No surprise. We're sticking with the Jeffersons, going to finish up this bottle. And then I promise you, next time we're going to have something a little bit different. I think this may, let's be honest, this isn't going to last a week. It's not going to last a week. So we'll finish this up this week, and I'll have another bottle for you, something different. I think we're going to step out of our comfort zone and try something just a little bit crazy. Oh, man. So lots going on, and I wanted to do something real quick before we get into the Tron cabinet reviews and some of our thoughts. I want to know, based on what everyone has seen, I'll go ahead and put this in the chat. Who's going to buy Tron now? Question mark. Based on what you've seen, right? Based on what you've seen, it is definitely a pretty cabinet. I think there's some things that we really weren't necessarily expecting. We're going to talk about that in a little bit more in depth, but the poll is up, so let me know what you think. And specifically, if you weren't going to buy it, are you going to buy it now? Maybe I should have spelled that out. So maybe some of you have already pre-ordered it. And if that's the case, great. But I'm talking about those minds that have been changed. What do you think? Oh, man, crazy. So, yeah, lots of stuff going on. Busy week. Luckily, I had some time off, and I was able to kind of wrap up a few things. We had to get Project 6 Men done. I had to get it up on a pedestal and wired, and had to have that done. I put a bow on it. It's finished, set aside, and that turned out great. The latest video came out Friday, the third and final part of that. You can check that out. I really would appreciate it. Response that's been pretty good. So thumbs up on that. That's awesome, and everybody seems to really enjoy it. Had a few questions about it, answered those, and I do frequent the comment section of my videos. You got specific questions, ask them. I will get to it. Even if it's not immediately, I'll get to it, because I think everybody needs to know everything that I know so that you can be well informed, so you can make your decision whether you're going to buy something or mod something. And my camera is not going to focus, is it? No, of course not. Why would? There we go. Look at that. Good job, buddy. That's going to be changing soon. Very, very soon. So what's going on? Let's say hi to the chat real quick. Scroll up here. We've got a couple people. Go ahead. We've got one or two. Two Mile Arcade LLC left this comment at 9:49 p.m. yesterday, almost 24 hours ago. Hey, Battle. Do you think a two-player co-op would sell well over $1,000 price point and work for Daytona or Cruising Series? I think what you're talking about is two cabs you can link together. We talked about this a little bit on the Super Game Room Dudes show, and I think so. I think if it's an option, right? I think you build it in as an option. I don't think you require it. I don't think you say, hey, you got to buy two cabs, or or no deal. But I think that if it is linkable, whether it is a proprietary kit, whether it's just like Ethernet, whatever they want to do, I think that if you do it, and if that's there, you can charge a little bit more for the cab. I think a little bit more. Let's not get carried away. I don't think $1,000. Now, if the question is, can they sell two cabinets linkable for $1,000? No, especially if you're talking about, a seated cabinet, even if you're talking about a stand-up, $1,000 for two cabinets. Unfortunately, probably not. But thank you so much for the chat. Really do appreciate it. Sosa, bam. What's going on? Sosa's here. Yes, he is. He is here. He's ready to go. Big Blue and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles should have been $4.49 and $4.99 from the jump. Absolutely. We've said that over and over again. At least I know I have on my channel. You're tired of me preaching that sermon, but yeah, it's definitely the price point that they should have been at. Travis Saunders. Hey-o. What's going on? How you doing? CT Jason. Let's get it. Whatever it is, we're going to get it. And we're going to make it happen. In Danger Dog. Once again, the dog is still in danger. Help this dog get out of danger. Lady Gaga and Tony Bennett. No. That's not a fair. No one wins in that. Okay. No one wins. If you're trying to say that we are Lady Gaga and Tony Bennett, no one wins. All right. There's nobody wins there. X-Men was $6.99 last time I checked for the sale on Arcade One Up. It is. It is $50. What a savings. What's it? What's the? What's that? I'm a huge Galaxy Quest fan. Buy Grapthar's hammer. What a savings. It's just $50 off. Easy now. Don't trip over yourself. Arcade One Up. Sup? Crumb says sup. Sup? How you doing? Good to see you. Retrostasis. Hey, everyone. Hey, indeed. Oh, don't want to swing by. Adam Montgomery, how are you? This show should be called Fox and Kits. Fox and Kittens? Fox and Kits? Fox and Consoles? Con Fox Kits? It just gets too complex. We'll give it some thought, though. We'll give it some thought for sure. Hi, smiley face or big eyes, thumbs up, drink. I agree with all that. Outstanding. And once again, drinking is not required, but it is encouraged. Absolutely. The parody account is alive and well. Fonsol Canboy says, I like Fox and Kits. Maybe we go with that. Maybe we stick with that. Maybe if this becomes a regular thing, but let's be honest, no, not everybody wants to come on this show, slumming it in the 9 o'clock time slot there. They got bigger fish fry. My tiny dumb arcade, once again, way too critical of your arcade. You're not doing yourself enough justice. Uncorking the bourbon now, absolutely. Thank you. If it's got a cork on it, it's quality. That's what that means, right? That's exactly what that means. Of course it is. No, I am Hozar. Exactly. Alter egos. You say you're cracking the 4 rows of small batch. Nice suggestion or selection there. Very nice. Very nice indeed. Good way to go. Good way to go. Faux show. We got a lot of guys going back. Oh, look at this. My buddy Ezekiel, the Chicago Retro Ranger, 499 Super Chat to kick off the night. What's up, Fox? I hope you had a good Thanksgiving. I definitely did. Looking forward to Christmas now. Absolutely. Already. My X-Men, Simpsons, and Turtles in Time just waiting on Tron. You got to be kidding me. Sounds like the arcade is filling up there just a little bit, isn't it, man? Thank you so much. Always supporting the channel for the $5. Really do appreciate it. And, I know you're a fan of the Dragon Ball Persuasion. So let me give you this one.
What? I'll put you out of your misery.
Gohan!
Is that all you got? Don't give up now!
Always dramatic finish when you're, blown into the sun. Thanks again for the $5 super chat. Really do appreciate it. Mike Hawkhurst, what's going on? Showtime. Showtime indeed. Finally got a USB that my ALP would be recognized by my computer. So fun. Yeah, it's always it's kind of a crapshoot, isn't it? Some of those dongles don't necessarily work. USB ports don't always accept every USB that you plug into it for show. I just showed that. And let's scroll on down a little bit farther. And we got Tim Hudson. What's going on? Sup, everyone? Hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving and weekend. Definitely did. And I hope that everybody, made the most of it, took the time to spend with family. That is what it's all about. And maybe, just maybe, you're lucky enough to kind of get some people around an arcade and maybe game just a little bit. Maybe introduce somebody to this crazy form factor of arcades, these big stand-up boxes. It's not a controller. It's something. It's a bigger version of that. So that's definitely good. Footy laughs. Yo, what is going on, Footy? How you doing? Mega Drive Justin. Hey now. Don't dream it's over. That would be good. Thanks, Tim, and you as well. Fonsol Canboy, this music lets you know something good is coming. I'm obviously way back. That was in the countdown era. Moto 13K. Evening again, folks. Evening to you. How are you? Let me scroll down just a little bit, kind of get caught up. Hobby Hands, days off. Just at a 21-hour shift. Well, I salute you. Bullet out, not pinky out, bullet out. That's the kind of stuff that makes this country, go round, right? I mean, that's what it's all about. The guys that are and the girls, everybody working those third shifts, working those, picking up that holiday pay just to try to get a little money cha-ching in the bank to help pay for the food for the kids and, the arcade one-ups. Definitely. So salute to you, brother, for sure. The work is what it's all about. The Garage Gamer. Hey, I enjoyed the Raiders win. I bet you did. What's up, Fox? Glad I made it live. You did, Peter. You made it live. Yes, you did indeed. Bozo Calvin Jr. Excuse me. A19K Fox is here. Got my big blue. All right. Got the big blue adjusted. Okay. Getting $100 now. It's on sale, $4.99. Absolutely. $4.99 is a steal. Think about it. I just want to point this out for just 1 second. At $4.99, Big Blue is now $50 cheaper than the Marvel vs. Capcom bundle. Think about that. It has every single thing that this bundle does, except it's taller. It's taller. You got your lit marquee. You got your lit deck protector. You got your stool. It's taller. It's got the Ethernet port on the back for that zero latency gaming. So it's a steal. It really is. At $4.99, it's kind of crazy. Really, it's kind of crazy. Zima next week. Shut your mouth. Zima. Do they still make Zima? Hello, does anybody? I don't know what the. No, we can't have Z. You know what? If they still make it, I'll. I don't know if I'll drink it, but I'll show off the bottle. I have no idea. Travis, Fox, try rare breed. I will, absolutely will. Gonna have to look into it. I need to change it up. I need to give you something else a little bit different. We can't keep drinking the same old stuff all the time, can we? I mean, I guess we can if it's good, right? We can if it's good. Tron is a beautiful cab, but the games didn't age well. We're gonna talk about that. Bozo Calvin Jr. They messed up with NTN on the kick plate. I think you're talking about Tron. Absolutely. I think the kick plate kind of just being bland and bare and black and just sort of nothingness, a big desolate wasteland, a blank canvas, sure. But at $700, do you really want to, have a canvas on which you need to paint? It's $700. I kind of already want that stuff to be there. I already want it to be there for sure. A Wall 101. It's definitely a beautiful cab, but still don't like the games. It's tough to get around that. Bob OIF3. It's pretty, but not for me. Hope everyone loves it when they get it. Exactly. I hope that when you get it, you are not disappointed. I don't want anybody to be disappointed. I mean, I really don't. I don't want anybody to be disappointed. I want everybody to enjoy it. I have heard one thing about the sound. These, some of our worries, not necessarily confirmed, but I've heard that the menu music is much louder than the actual game music itself. Clax 29. I loved Tron back in the day, but never played Disc of Tron, and Tron is the same 4 mini games repeated, so not for the price. Agreed. Console fanboy, what's up? Sup, Fonsol. I respect the game. You're hilarious, he said with a sneer. I added the sneer. I don't know. He's probably not sneering. Art Davison, what's going on? Hey, everybody. Hey, indeed. How you doing? I think I need to scroll down here because he hit me again with another $4.99. What's good, Fox? You need some Super Saiyan 3 Goku scenes. Yes, I do. You got me. You caught me slipping. I actually do not have any Super Saiyan 3, but what I do have is an iconic scene with the old Super Saiyan 2 Gohan.
How dare you! How dare you! Show him, Gohan! Let him see our combined power! You're finished! This can't be happening!
Dramatic finish!
Outstanding. It's not Super Saiyan 3, but it is close. Appreciate it, man, so much for the $5 super chat. Really do appreciate it. Zod Ryder unboxing the bourbon now. What's up, Fox? Papow indeed, unboxing the bourbon. I feel honored that you're going to unbox it right now. Pretty awesome. Brew Crew, Sup Retro. Let me scroll down and make sure. Con Storm. Listen, how are you doing, buddy? This is a really good channel. Everybody needs to check this one out. Great source for some information, some rumors, and some good, thoughtful speculation. My Tron may be coming in tomorrow. Good deal for that. Well, listen, I understand that maybe, just maybe, you need to hear more than just my opinion. Maybe it's just not quite enough. Maybe we need a second voice. Some would say a voice of reason to sort of bring a balance to this show. And well, here he is.
Don't buy it. Don't do it.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm selling it. Pick it up. It's not even on sale. It is full price. The man right here, Justin. How the hell are you?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Well, before we get going, you got to tell me. So I came prepared, and you can see I've been doing all right. I saw you like some makers, but you got to tell me, should I mix it with Dr. Pepper or do I just drink it straight?
I typically drink it just on the rocks.
Okay.
But with makers, it can be kind of harsh. If I mix it with anything, a little bit of Coke. Actually, being a little more self-conscious
like
or
Dr.
health
Pepper?
conscious, I should say, I do the Coke Zero because that's what you
Oh,
do
I
when you're
see.
trying to, stay in good health. But no, definitely try it straight on the rocks first. And then if it's a little got too much of a bite, sometimes it can. Go ahead and mix it. There's no shame in this game, none at all.
There we go. All right, so you'll have to tell me what bourbon I need to get next because this is all I ever buy. I think I got to move on to the next level of bourbon, right?
I'm gonna suggest this to pretty much anybody, especially if you want to try something on the rocks and it's not too harsh. Jefferson's is really
okay.
good, and this is a very small batch. The alcohol content is what you want to kind of look at as a rule of thumb. This is about 41%, where it has the oakiness, it has the flavor, it doesn't have all the harshness of some of these higher alcohol content bourbons. So you kind of start there. I don't like the rye bourbons, but I would suggest you try one just to see if that's kind of your thing. It's more of a flavor preference issue.
So it's a flavor. It's a flavor preference issue.
Yes.
Are we talking about bourbon or are we talking about Tron?
We're talking about Tron, baby. That's exactly right. Great segue into Tron. So obviously we've seen a lot of the reviews coming out. I didn't get this. I know that you didn't get it also. Was kind of waiting to see what the reaction of the community was. We saw, we've been on top of the leaks and the rumors, and then they were actual facts, and then we had pre-order dates and all that. And now we have reviews, I think, of Khan's live stream specifically, and we're all hoping and praying that his G panel makes a full recovery. But based on what you've seen so far, what do you think about the cabinet?
It's a lot of what people are saying that you've heard. It's like, what's up with the front panel just being black? Like you couldn't have done something there. Maybe they tried it out. Maybe they looked at it and said, let's do a coin door. And we don't know. Like maybe we should see some options. Maybe we'll get Mason to drop a couple options for us and be like, this is what would happen if it looked like this or that. But those molded coin doors would be good. A lot of people are saying that it looks great. I'm not really into the game, and that's why I didn't buy it.
I'm in the same camp. I think it does look great, but I don't know. Do we just want a blacklight poster then of the actual arcade? Maybe full-size poster? I mean, because I'm kind of with you.
That's a good point.
I'm not suggesting you put anything else on the cabinet. I think that would be inappropriate. I just don't think you really want to put anything else on the cabinet. So good move on them for going with the two games. Good move on the hype too, by the way. There's a lot to look to really consider when you're thinking about that. And speaking of which, I got a little size comparison here. This is not to scale. so if you put these two side by side, they're not going to look exactly like this. But and I was watching your live stream too, and there's this thinking, this sort of thought, are we going to get these bigger cabs? Are we eventually going to get a little bigger? And we're both going to speak to that a little bit, but I wanted to kind of just give a point of reference for us to sort of understand where we're at. So you've got your Simpsons cabs coming in at 59 inches right there. Slightly bigger is going to be your Killer Instinct, right? At 60, 75. Now I'm going off RK1Up's own measurements, assembled dimensions. Listen, we all know that this could be kind of, up to interpretation. It could be incorrect, but I think they've corrected the majority of those mistakes. So then you move up to the Tron at the 64.75, a little bit bigger, which I thought was kind of interesting. I thought these were all going to be the same height, but a little bit bigger is T2 and Ridge Racer coming in at 65.5. And then of course, Big Blue still reigns supreme at 67.2. Do you have any of these cabinets or any on pre-order yet?
let's see. I have Big Blue out of the lineup that you have shown.
Okay.
That's it. I got that one for basically that $4.99 price. Maybe technically a little bit lower. It was $5.99 and then about $200 in Kohl's Cash, which I
That's
then
right. That's right.
used to buy more cabinets. So that was odd.
And no, I thought you gave that to your wife, right? That's how we justify
was
the
going to,
purchase.
but she didn't. I had one day to go, and I bought these earbuds. You know, the Apple ones, the Pros.
Okay,
and that's,
nice.
And then that gave me more Kohl's Cash, and then I used that Kohl's Cash towards the class of 1981. Then I used that Kohl's Cash. It's a pyramid scheme, right? It just keeps going. Then I got the Tempest at a discount, and now I have 105 Kohl's Cash left over.
That's how they get you, right? That's exactly how
they get you. It feels like I saved money, but maybe I didn't.
Well, I'm sure. Just tell yourself that whether you did or not is not the point, right? The point is we just convince ourselves that it's all good. So
That's
I
right.
have Big Blue. I've got T2 and Ridge Racer on pre-order. Obviously, no Tron. Will FOMO take over for Killer Instinct for me? I don't think so, but I'm really going to wait for that second SKU without the stool. How do you feel about Killer Instinct?
I think there's only one SKU, and I'm not into that game. Okay. So that one's a pass for me because I never played it. Like I remember seeing it and was like, no, I'll play MK or Street Fighter or something, and I never gravitated over to it.
I gotta, I'll be honest with you. I did play it in arcade, but I played Killer Instinct Gold on N64 more. And I did love Battletoads though, for sure.
Yeah, I kind of remember Battletoads, but again, it wasn't a game that I paid like that one. Even Battletoads, I didn't play a lot. You know what I mean? So I found myself like buying, whether it's collection of Nintendo games, Super Nintendo games, or arcade one-ups, the ones that speak to me that I remember playing. It's not 100% true, and this is kind of my new thing. Like, I bought the Defender Partycade, okay? And this could get into the Tron discussion, because it was like, I started playing Defender on an arcade one-up with the Intech Gaming mod. So I started playing Sinistar. I never played Sinistar before, and instantly the entire family was having so much fun. Here it is. We're all playing a brand new game, and the game is just spectacular. It was the Sega Genesis version we were playing, which didn't require the 49-way gate. So I'm starting to feel like if the game is good, it doesn't matter. Like if it's a good game, you create new memories. But I just think Tron sucks, so...
Listen, I got to be perfectly honest with you. At the time, I'm sure it was great. You had the film, you had all the tie-in. It's fine, but aesthetically, it's great. But yeah, it just comes down to the game. Am I actually going to play this thing? It's more than just a decoration. And if I'm not digging the game, I'm not going to like it. And Killer Instinct for me, it's almost like I don't feel the need to get it for content. I'm not the authority. There's so many more channels that I respect that are going to be the authority on that. I really want to hear what they have to say. But I think even then, I'm still going to wait for that $4.99, $5.50 price point before I think about picking this up. It's just not something I think I need it for the collection, but I don't have to have it right now, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think there's a couple set of us, right? Like if Tron doesn't speak to you, wait for it to get discounted. Don't fall for the FOMO is my recommendation. Absolutely. It's like there's some of us that like coupons, right? And so if you're a coupon person, buying day one is not the right plan, right? And unless it's you're afraid you're gonna miss out on it. So imagine if Tron is on Target, it's at Target, it sells out, and you're never gonna get it. Are you gonna be disappointed? If you're going to be disappointed because you're never going to have Tron, go buy it.
That's a good point. That's a good point. And
otherwise, skip it.
And listen, not everybody's trying to grab every, we can't all be Michael B. Not everybody's going to grab every single cabinet, So if that's not your bag and you're really just sitting around waiting for that game, and everybody's got that game, whatever that game is, that they just have to have, and maybe their collection is just a couple of these cabinets, or maybe it's just one. Listen, we're not going to judge you or tell you you can or can't do this, whatever. You want to pay top dollar, day one, pre-order, get it, great. But yeah, I think that probably for the average consumer who has other things going on in life, it's going to be a situation where we're going to have to wait for these prices to come down. And I mean, even we say come down to 500, but 500 is still no big. That's no chump
Still a
change.
lot of
I mean,
money. Yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
So what do you think if there was a cabinet that was $1,000?
mhm.
Is there a title that even at $1,000 you would buy it? Forget about the channel content. You buy $1,000 cabinet for you. Is there a title that the must have?
It's gonna go to that tactile experience. I talk about all the time the fact that we're trying, or the way that you simulate that arcade experience, that unique arcade experience, not a fighter. My favorite game, probably Alien vs Predator, is the one I have. I've got a story about that, but it's definitely something that I just really gravitate towards. I love it. If they come out with that, I'm gonna get it. $1,000, no. If you're talking about, there's some way they're able to replicate, I don't know, Afterburner, but the seat moves back and forth. I mean, I don't know if it's just a rocker. I don't know, but if you're talking about that for $1,000, now you have me interested. But I can't think of a title that I'm just going to go buy that's just one of their stand-up cabs for $1,000. There's just no way, no way.
Yeah.
You know,
The reason why I say that is because I have this theory that they are raising the price and their margins are going up, but they've grown as a company now, big enough that they're known enough that at the higher prices, say, I don't know, there's 100,000 people.
right?
If they come out with the right must-buy cabinet, like a Tron, they're going to sell 50,000.
Sure.
I think
Sure.
they'll sell 50,000 of Tron, but maybe the opportunity is like 5 million people or something like that. They're like, oh, well, we're going to make way more profit, and they got to share that profit with everybody else, because I think the royalties are a percentage game, not a fixed price game. So if they raise their prices, they're sharing that with the publishers, but everyone wins, right? It just means they're not going to sell out 300,000 Pac-Mans like they did in 2019, 2020. It means they're going to sell less, but they'll make more. That's what I think is going on.
And that was probably part of the business model. We get a bunch of sales initially with these lower cost, easy to emulate machines, and we build that consumer base.
Yep.
Are you shocked that there's no direct competitor now to Arcade One Up? No one is trying to do what they're doing. I mean,
No one's doing that model, right?
right.
No, I think they own it, and I think no one. I think John D came in at just the right time, and I think he got licensed exclusives, right?
Right.
And no, he came from Capcom, so who else is going to get Capcom?
That's true. That's true.
I bet he was like, yeah, we'll give you Capcom, and then Arcade One. I've worked with companies like that before. Like, have you worked with a company like that? I know you
Absolutely.
work a businessman, right? It's like you acquire someone, and then a person that came to your company,
they just
like there's a
they just happen to
relationship,
bring
right?
all their clients. It doesn't that just work out great?
That's right.
Crazy how that works. Zod Rider
right.
for $5. Thank you so much for the super chat. I bought an awesome purple neon nightlight, and it's fantastic. And it gives me the feel of having a Tron cabinet. And I don't know, you probably paid less than $700, I would imagine. Thank you so much for the $5
funny.
super chat. Really do appreciate it. And let's give you a little bit of why don't we do, you know what? I'm sorry, Zod. I'm sorry. For that sarcasm, I got to send you to the pit.
Finish him. Melina wins. Flawless victory. Fatality.
So the night lights are still the main competition for Tron. So they better, I don't know. John D better keep his eye on the ball there. It's crazy. Thanks to give for the $5 super chat. Really do appreciate it. Kuma Red for $199. $1,000 Marvel versus Capcom 2. Oh, with top tier netcode. Take my money. Thank you so much for the $199 super chat. And we're going to, you're not going to the pit, but it's going to be a little chilly.
Finish him. Finish him. Sub-Zero wins. Flawless victory. Fatality.
Justin, what do you think about Marvel versus Capcom 2? Well, that's probably not $1,000 cab for you, but is that an $800 cab for you?
It depends, right? Like first I'd have to get into that franchise and enjoy it.
Oh
So
no! We have an MVC denier here. What is going on?
I had a girlfriend during when the cab came out,
Oh.
so it's one of those things.
Yeah,
So I didn't play it a
understand.
lot. I know a
Priorities,
lot of people love it.
Yeah, and that's called priorities. I get it. I was always a fan of the mashups and the crossovers and all that. When Marvel and DC did their comic crossover and they came out with the amalgam universe and all that, and you had like
Mhm.
Batman and Wolverine came together and made Dark Claw, and then they came out with these games. Of course, Marvel was dying; they were hurting for cash at the time, so Capcom was just spitting out these crazy crossovers. That was a big thing for me, and of course, I had Marvel vs. Capcom 2 on Dreamcast.
Mhm.
Just a phenomenal game. I don't know if it's an exact port, but it's pretty damn close, and,
Is it?
and I absolutely loved it. So, but even that game, still, that's not $1,000 cab for me.
Yeah. Yeah, it just doesn't. If I was going to spend $1,000, I think it would have to have either it's just extremely feature rich, really easy menu systems, gives me something, or pulls on my heartstrings with nostalgia, or
Yeah.
both maybe.
Yeah.
Like Street Fighter was definitely a game that came out, when I was, at the prime of playing arcades and Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, all of that. So I played that 1,000 times, so it pulled on me. So I had to have Big Blue.
Is there a mechanic that you would just pony up the cash for? Is there some kind of something, whether it's a sit down, moving cab, rotating cab? Is there something like that?
I think if they did the Sega Star Wars, I'd pay $1,000 for that. I remember going. Still to the arcade, there's newer Star Wars versions. You get in and they're all great. And I would. There's probably so many games in the arcade that I didn't play during that period of time. Like I don't know that what they could do with that cabinet. I mean, they already did it amazingly with this one, right?
Absolutely.
The Atari.
Absolutely. Love it. Love it.
So good.
But I think that's what it would have to. You would. I guess it's like show me more. Okay, I know you can
Mhm.
pull off a cabinet, and you can pull off maybe a racing wheel.
Yeah.
We've got the Tron light gun now. I'm really hoping we get a flight game.
Sure.
Some kind of a stand up, afterburner, something like that. I'm hoping that we get that. But even that is not going to impress me enough to spend $1,000. Now, somebody did say in the chat, and not to plug my own project, but X-Men 6-player. And I think for the $1,000 conversation, if you're going to talk about something like that, physical size, I was able to get my control panel right at 4 feet, but you're
Mhm.
talking about a 27-inch monitor or two 17 side by side, a lot of hardware, probably a lot more reinforcements inside. Physically, it looks like that would maybe justify the cost. What are your thoughts on that? What do you think about? Would you pay $1,000 for an Arcade 1-Up 6-player X-Men?
Well, I personally wouldn't, but I know people that would.
Yeah.
I do think they were planning on doing it last year, but it was a 24-inch monitor, and it was wider. I do believe they were going to do a wider version.
Right.
One screen, kind of like yours. But now with all, I think there's two things going on, right? The hardware cost did go up.
Right.
And then I think their profit margin went up as well, or at least they needed to show. I don't know. There's some reason why the prices are going up. $1,000, that's tough. I don't know anyone that would pay $1,000. So you got two big problems, right? You're gonna pay $1,000, and it's gigantic. It's a good deal if you love that cab, but you got the space for it.
So I thought. My initial thought was, look, what they do, what Arcade 1-Up does is they get a hold of a property, let's say Street Fighter, and they put it in every freaking form factor known to man. You have a stand-up, you have a cocktail, you have party cage, you have everything. But then that also runs counter to the argument. Okay, if you've got X-Men, what are you more likely going to do if you're Arcade 1-Up? Would you take X-Men and make a sweet little 2-player countercade? Or are you going to go swing hard and try to do a 6-player giant thing that maybe nobody can afford?
Yeah, I don't know. I would rather see them. What I'd like to see them do is a 2-player X-Men, or a 2-player Simpsons, and go, okay, we did the 4-player first.
Yep.
That one's coming out first, and if you regret it, sorry. But now we have a 2-player version, and we made sure that all those 4-player games we use the modified ROM or work with the publisher or whatever to make it
Right.
where you can select whichever character you want.
I did a video a while back where I took the concern was, okay, 4-player cabinets, right? The decks, they're
Mhm.
wide. I can't sit my arcade one-ups next to each other. So I just made a 2-player control deck for my turtles. And
Right.
obviously that limits you. You've got to do selections on that encoder. Okay, I've got to have what 2 characters am I going to go with? So if you have
Right.
a different ROM, that would make a whole lot more sense. So what makes more sense to you? Do they make a different, the same cabinet but in a 2-player version, or do they just sell the control deck? And then that way you just have the one cabinet, but you swap those out. I don't know.
I don't think they would do the control deck. I just don't think there's money there. It's weird, right? Like, they got to split all the money with the publisher, right? But then if the publisher is not providing anything like a game, right? If you think about it, almost every product they have, name a product that they have that doesn't include a game, right? Like, there's always a game share. There's always a royalty that's being spent because of the publisher, the IP, and everything. I guess tens would be the only thing they sell that's not a game. And they suck at accessory business. Even
absolutely.
Go to arcade1up.com and try to get a replacement anything, right? Like, they're bad at that. So I don't think we should be encouraging, hey, you should start selling things that will never be in stock.
That will never be in stock. Notify me. I can't wait.
That's right.
I mean, I had to go third party for a new Turtles control deck protector, right? And it was my fault. I over tightened the screws, cracked it. I would say that it should have been thicker material, but I digress. My fault. I want to get a new one, and it just I never saw it in stock. I mean, I got that thing right out of a Walmart locally for $3.49. No lit marquee, but so I had the thing basically at launch, right? And I never saw it available. So I had to go third party. So you're right. I mean, yeah, why make promises they're not going to keep?
Yeah, but what if they licensed out or worked with a third party to let them do it, Like, I don't know if the control panel will be right, but the coin doors is an example. Like, we're begging them for coin doors, but are those always going to be out of stock? But what if you push that risk off to, I don't know, DIY Retro Arcade and say, DIY Retro Arcade, you can work directly with our manufacturer. It's official Arcade 1-Up product. We want $10 for every one sold, but you do the investment and you do the marketing. It's all you, DIY Retro Arcade. Something like that.
I think that, John D hinted to that, didn't he? I mean, he made that suggestion, I think that's probably the way they're going to go. They need to do something. I agree with you. You cannot say or offer this thing and it's never in stock. That's just, a lot of, nothing for nothing. But if you can partner with somebody and have that official arcade, 1-up accessory for your arcade 1-up, I think that's a win-win. And I think that kind of keeps a third party in business. Hopefully maybe some American, company, locally based, that we know we can quickly get our products. I think that would be great. And we got another $4.99 super chat. Collector of Nostalgia. You must be collecting nonstop. They could get me with a true xenophobia or narc. I'm in for $1,000. Listen, you can't, there's no denying Narc is an awesome game. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. And in honor of Killer Instinct, here you go.
I'm afraid your path ends here.
I lost you.
That's okay. I thought that maybe the Killer Instinct video offended you. I apologize. So we've got Collector of Nostalgia in for $1,000, and I think it's interesting. It's an interesting question that you pose. At $1,000, there are just titles, not mechanics, just titles that people are willing to pay $1,000 for. So maybe, they're not going to go our way of kind of bargain, budget options, different SKUs, taking away less to offer value. I think they're just going to maybe pursue those IPs that are going draw that money, I guess.
Yeah.
Giovanni Gastaldo, I hope sorry, I hope I butchered your name. I hope I didn't butcher your name. Hydro Thunder for $1,000, please. Thank you so much for the $1.99 super chat. A lot of people agree with you, and for that, let's go with, you know what? I'm going to give you the big guy. You get Ryu.
Combo finish!
Don't worry, Captain America made a full recovery.
So what do you think? The Turtles in Time, right? That got discounted, but did it get discounted because of Black Friday or Cyber Monday, or because they can't move those cabinets?
You know what? You're jumping ahead, but I'll allow it. Check this out.
Am I jumping? I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're good, because it's a great segue. I was sort of following the same thought process you were. I got this message today, a comment on my video today from Corey Farley. I told him he was going to be on the show, so man, you made it. And this is the comment. So my local Best Buy had 5 of these, talking about the Turtles in Time cabinet, a few days before Black Friday. In the late afternoon on Black Friday, they still had the same 5. All other Arcade 1-Up options were sold out by that evening on Black Friday. They couldn't sell the Turtles in Time cab, even though both games are among the most popular arcade beat-em-ups ever. This might be why they are on sale. So you go first. What are your thoughts? Because I agree with you. I think it's a great question. It's a valid point.
I think that, so for me, the Turtles in Time artwork, I'm not familiar with that artwork. Maybe other people are. Maybe they're like, oh my gosh, my arcade had the Turtles in Time. But isn't like everybody familiar with the original TMNT artwork? And so I think they made a mistake. But what are they going to do? Like re-release TMNT and be like, now it's online, but it looks exactly the same? They would have sold more probably if they were like, we didn't sell enough, so they're back.
I mean, I think that artwork is garbage. I mean, listen, it's probably, we know John D, right? We know his attention to detail. I'm very confident that is accurate. I'm sure it's accurate. I'm sure it is, but it's ugly. I just don't think it looks good. The Bug-Eyed Turtles is not my bag, but I love the original. And, I mean, so do you advertise that it's the new shape? I think what they should have done is what those early leaks that we saw from I think it was the Best Buy Canada, where they had like the 4 other games. It was Vendetta.
Oh, right.
And it was anamorphic. I forget but the 4 beat 'em ups. You didn't have the Sunset Riders, but you had some kind of cool deep cuts and a couple games. I know I've got a lot of people that have commented on my videos that are just love Vendetta and would have been all over that. So you include those games. I think that would have been, I think the cab would have sold. I think it would have sold about as well as everything else. But the omission of that.
Yeah. It didn't really offer anything more. So someone who already has the TMNT, why would they go get the Turtles in Time? They're like, I guess I can play it online. But that's the only feature that it would add. The artwork is slightly different. Is that enough? There's too many reasons not to buy it, right? It didn't come with extra games. The artwork is not as good. Maybe I already bought the other Turtles. So you can't sell to those existing Turtles people. And then the price is high.
Exactly.
So the average person walking by is like, I'll buy this other one that's way cooler. So they bought all those people that potentially bought the Turtles in Time. They bought the other ones. I
mean, it's $700 and I'm looking at X-Men or Turtles. I'm like, which one are you going to go? But I'll tell you what the problem was. The fatal flaw, the single design flaw on the Death Star was this. They released the 2-player Ninja Turtle countercade about the same damn time. And for $200, I can just go get basically the same thing. I mean, it's like there was no competition initially for Turtles, the original 4-player. So I think you're exactly right.
Yeah.
You've got a bunch of people that have the original 4-player And now we have this 2-player countercade, and now they re-release the exact same game list, but in a bigger, way more expensive version.
Right.
I have to believe, and I can just tell you by the amount of traffic I have on my Ninja Turtles 2-player countercade video, I think there's a lot of interest in that, and I believe that cannibalized some of those sales.
So with Simpsons, like they've never done Simpsons before, right? The second game is a bowling game, right? And so there's reasons to buy that. You know, it's iconic. Everyone's gonna look at it. It looks great. But I mean, is that the way to go? I mean, I heard it had some problems. I'm sorry, I'm pushing you, 19K5s. I'm like, oh, with the segues here.
Super chats because I like where your head's at. I like where your head's at.
I'm used to doing co-hosting.
You are co-hosting your ass off, and I love it. Okay. Hobby Hands for $5. Tron and Star Wars are must-have games for me. Star Wars because it's a great game. Tron because of the looks. P.S. ran out of room. Uh-oh. Did you read my other super chat? Oh man, did I miss a super chat? Hold on, just for a second. I don't know that I saw your other one. Maybe. You know what? If you could repost it, I'll read it. I promise.
Yeah, super chat again. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, well, you don't have super chat. You don't have to super chat. Just chat me again. Hit the old comment section again one more time. Man, thank you so much for the $5. Working hard, that just pulled that long shift on Thanksgiving weekend, no less. Really rough. And because of that, I'm gonna give you the big one. Where is she at? Come on, Chun-Li, and there you go.
But wait, there's more.
You just thought that Ryu had all like the finishers and super moves. No. Chun-Li's gonna beat. Thank you so much for that $5 super chat. Really do appreciate it. And I believe we had another from Big Reese, who needs to let me know if I can share his big announcement that he shared with me. Reese, let me know, man, if I can share that information. $5 Australian, which means it's way better than American money. It's Australian money from down under. How about add cup holders? I need somewhere to put my beer, and I have it on good authority. It is not Foster's, because that is, it's not Australian for beer. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Really do appreciate it. And I got to give you what is left. And you know what? How about one of our favorites? Here you go. Absolutely. Looking forward to that game. Not going to pay $600 or $700 though. Not going to do it. One more super chat, and then we're going to get to the burning question. Tony C for $5. What's going on? Release the Arcade 1-Up Konami Legacy cabinet. It must happen. We know that it's there. It's hidden in some basement somewhere. John D's got guards walking by, like Metal Gear Solid, and they're not going to let it out, but they got to let it out because we're dying. Thank you so much for that super chat. And you know what? I think we can give you. Yeah, let's give you this guy. You know what? No, you get one of the best scenes in Dragon Ball. Here you go.
Frieza! Dramatic finish!
Goku isn't the only Super Saiyan. There's another one right here.
Trunks! Win!
Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. And yes, it is time. It's time. It's time for Gate. It's time to game different. Oh, gosh. So wow. So let's begin this story with a review from a really small YouTuber. I don't know if anybody's heard of him. I got it written down here. RGT85. I don't know.
It's very, very new to home arcade.
Very new, very I don't know.
Yeah.
It just go subscribe and help the guy out.
Help him out. He needs to get to 1,000.
Bless his heart. Let's get him to 1,000. Let's get him monetized. And so he had an issue. He had a problem with his Simpsons cabinet, and I think it's something. I don't know if you addressed it before in some of the concepts, the concept drawings, or some of those initial renders or whatever we saw. I know this channel has kind of had a love-hate relationship with Simpsons. Where it stands with me now is my 5/29 pre-order has been canceled because of actions taken by Walmart. I can't blame Arcade One Up for these decisions. It's Walmart's pre-order that they decided to push that out till January. Then they stocked their shelves, which was really that just I got messages, Twitter, Instagram. Hey, Fox, check it out. Walked into my local Walmart and it's here for $4.99.
I bet they have no clue. Nobody knows. Arcade One Up doesn't know. Walmart doesn't know. One hand doesn't know what the other hand. There's no one in the face of the planet related to the product development of Arcade One Up that actually understands that you had a pre-order and it got shipped and things got shipped to the store first. And that sucks. There should be someone behind that says, wait a second, let's get these orders to the .com people first.
I have a bold prediction. I don't think that this is ever going to happen on this scale again. I think the debacle of the Simpsons rollout from the initial announcement and then the unannouncement and then back and forth and not knowing what that second game was, and then channels like me saying it's not even going to be bowling. They're going to take the trackball's coming off there and they're going to put Vendetta on there.
I think you were half right with the trackball though. They kind of did take the trackball off. If the CNET one, the CNET video has that real big trackball,
right?
And then we got the small one, right? So it's kind of, I don't think it was bait and switch. It was just kind of, wait, that thing costs a lot more than we thought it would be. Put the cheap one in.
Exactly. Well, so here's the crux of his argument. And I don't want to play his video. I want to take away from his his channel.
Yeah, you might take a couple of views away, right?
I wouldn't want to. Yeah, we're trying to help the guy out. So, but listen, this is a real thing. So when he plays, right? This is how he plays, and it's the orientation not of every player, but of Homer. Possibly the most popular, maybe Bart's the most popular, I'm not sure. But Homer is a very popular character on the game. You want to play as him. If you want to play in that position, this is the configuration you kind of got to have your hand. There's some real estate issues here. We got the trackball on the right, which is obviously, as Justin just pointed out, it's actually the smaller one, still kind of in the way. You got the joystick over here. I have to sort of do this maneuver here. It's not ideal. And I tend to agree with that. It's really not ideal. And you see kind of this is my hand here. This is this is my example. This is how you game differently, right? You put your thumb down, right? And that was the reaction of some people in the community. Listen, dude, just move your thumb, right? Just move your thumb. Yeah.
I see it both ways, right? Like maybe RGT85 was playing the game and didn't think to move his thumb. Maybe. But also maybe he was like, look, I don't have big hands. Maybe he has small hands. And so maybe his hands aren't big enough to get around there. And then I saw, who was it? Garage Gamer on Twitter. It was all like, oh, yeah. This is all you do, right?
It's like, dude, just the thumb.
I think maybe, because you've probably done this as well, right? Like, I know Ralph and I talked about this all the time. So we would make content, and you could, the way you film it, we did a show where we did this, where we were like, hey, check it out. We're gonna show you a clip, and you tell us if we're telling the truth or not. And we would say, check out this Arcade One-Up cabinet. It has this problem right here. Look at it. And you could do anything. Like with a camera, you can make anything look bad.
Absolutely.
Or make it look good, right?
Exactly.
I'm not saying that RGT did that, but he may be exaggerating the problem, maybe. But maybe he was exaggerating it, but that was how he proved his point. He's like, and the point is, and this I think you'll agree with, the control panel kind of sucks, right? Like the real estate, it sucked. So he took a video of him showing the most cramped possible way to prove his point, and he's probably right.
I'm guilty of the same thing. Full disclosure. So when I had my Big Blue review, I really wanted to show off the poor placement of that headphone jack right there where I want to game.
Right.
And it's a wired connection. So I have a wire. So what do I do? What do I do with this wire? So I had an exaggerated sort of reenactment a person trying to game while having this wire in the way.
Right.
I think it's an issue. It's okay. I wrote this down because it was a convoluted thought, but I said I wanted to kind of just pose this question to you. So, is Arcade1Up sacrificing the marquee title experience for ancillary games included to justify the high cost, thus making the cabinet not worth the cost?
No, because I think bowling is what actually saves that cab.
Which brings me to my next point. Why didn't they just do this? Forgive my poor Photoshop ability here. Why not? And we can talk about the nuts and bolts of this. You're talking about
so you're saying ignore the inconsistency in the artwork. Just imagine the artwork was consistent.
Yes, because there is this is not the best. This is not what you would see when you purchase the item. This is what I just kind of cropped and moved around. So Bart wouldn't be down here hanging out by himself.
Okay.
You're going to have the buttons for Homer down where they should be, sort of in the same configuration. You just kind of brought lower, right? More comfortable position. You don't have to kind of reach up and over to game. And then you bring that trackball down. And the nuts and bolts of it, I think, is that you're going to have a control panel with a different shape, a little more woods. You're going to have a kind of a protrusion there.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have that plastic belly plate on the bottom, right? That kind of hides all the wires. You're going to have
buckle
to
there or
that.
something. What do you want to call it?
You're going to have to bubble that out. That's going to be a remold. That's going to be specific for this cabinet. So there's some cost there. I'm not denying that. But what do you think about just a simple design change?
Well, hindsight's 2020. Sure, they should have done this, but I wonder if they probably started with the really big trackball, and then they were probably designing it for that, and maybe they put a lot of thought in it. Yeah. And then at the 11th hour, they're like, "We're going with the smaller one," and they're like, there you go.
I hope it all works out.
RGT made a crappy video. This sucks.
What are we gonna do? Oh crap! I think that. It's, and I guess the bigger, to that convoluted question I ask is maybe a better example is X-Men, because you're talking about X-Men, the marquee title, 3-button beat 'em up. You have Captain America and the Avengers, a 3-button beat 'em up. They included a third game to add value, but then that necessitated a 4th button, which is in the way of the 3-button experience. Are we trying to add value and then also subtract value by trying to add value?
That is a great example. If they wouldn't have put that game in, a game that no one really liked, they could have stuck with the 3-button. And in fact, then it looks more like the original X-Men, right? Because then it's just got the 3-button. I remember I will tell you one thing. When John gave us a preview, Ralph and I, he showed us 2 things. He showed us Killer Instinct, and we said, cut the wings off, fight for it. And the second one was, don't put that third game on there and do 3 buttons. And I remember right on that call, John goes, I can't fight that battle. There was something else going on. I don't know what it was. He's like, it's going in. It's something like he fought for a relationship, and that was the game that started the talk. And there's probably something else coming, but so take it that. So maybe I could be speculating here, but that game was added for a different reason.
I think that's fair. I think we all know that these are compromised machines. They're not perfect one-for-one recreations. We're going to have some compromises here. And if that was the case, maybe they take the 4th button and kind of move it up out of the way. Maybe. I don't know.
What was that? That was a different publisher, right?
Data East. Yeah, Data East.
Data East. I was thinking Taito, but yeah, Data East.
Yeah, Data East, and they did both of them, right? They did the Captain America, and they did the Galactic Storm.
Oh, so maybe it was a 2-for-1 deal or some weird, like, if you're gonna take one, you got to take the other.
I guess that has to be Marvel thing, because there's no way Data East holds sway over Konami, right? I mean, I don't know, maybe, but I don't see that happening.
I think they wanted more than one game, right?
Yeah, exactly.
They had to add something.
We had to
get Data East on board to work together.
Yeah, we got to put it on something. Somebody's got to take it. So I guess
I think that's why. I wonder if that's why it doesn't have a Konami logo, right, on the cabinet.
No. I think that the only place it says Konami is the trademark underneath X-Men on the marquee. It's in black. It's under Storm. I think it's just really small, but that's all I saw in the videos I saw.
I wonder if Konami's like, we don't want you. You just go ahead and put Marvel in that corner. Since it has 2 Data East games on it, we don't want like high advertisement.
Right. Just pay us and don't put the name on it. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
If
Pay
people
us
get
extra
mad,
to
we
not-
we don't want to be a part of it.
We don't want anyone out. I wouldn't blame them at all. Hobby Hands comes in again with a $10 super chat. Week started out rough. Tron cab shipped to the wrong state.
What?
Oh man. Oh, that's not good. Hopefully you live in a tri-state area where it was close. But it did arrive, assembled right now. And a bonus, my GRS yoke arrived. Awesome today by Amazon. Must be glitch. My other super chat did not go through. I apologize. But I'm glad you're not getting double pumped for
Right.
super
I
chat,
searched through it. I didn't see another one. So yeah, it looks like he tried to put it in, but it didn't go through.
which is fine. That's cool.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for the $10. I really do appreciate it. And you know what? Let's give you something special. Thanks again for the $10 super chat. Really do appreciate it. Collector of Nostalgia. Again, does anyone remember Xenophobe? Look it up. I need help getting this made. if you and Justin can't get it made, no one can. It's now that it's funny. Now you say that. It's right here. I've got it right here. The
PS2
Midway Legacy Treasures 2 with the perfection of video game of history, Pit Fighter. It also includes Xenophobe right here. So, is it in their wheelhouse to make? Is that part of their licensing? I couldn't tell you, but it's got to be up there with Narc, right?
Yes, Bally Midway, right? So
yeah.
Unless there's weird thing, right? So like when you're working with back in the day, right? There you got Bally Midway who's making the game, but if they borrow any intellectual property from any sources, it's possible that those games are not available for licenses because basically lawyers haven't figured that out or it's not worth their time.
Right.
But looking at the cabinet, this thing had 3 sticks on it. So
it did, really? I didn't realize that.
I'm just looking at Wikipedia. I see 3 sticks, and it's like imagine 3 Tron sticks.
That's nuts.
Yeah, that's enough. That's nuts.
Man, thanks again for the super chat. I really do appreciate it. And let me hit you with a little bit of what's left. I think we got this guy left right here. Everybody's got that game. Everybody has that game they have to have made.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Do we have? Wow. Okay. So sorry, we got another one. $4.99 from Andrew's Clay Creations and more. Kong and his wife had the same issue. I'm guessing she has tiny hands. Well, I think she's a fairly small person, so I would imagine that the hands are also small.
Oh, so the hands are small, so she can't get the thumb around.
Do the thumb, I guess.
Maybe it's a thing.
It could be a thing. I have ridiculous long hands, I kind of have some of the same issue. Maybe it's the width is the issue. Maybe they're small but wide, not some kind of weird freakish hands. I don't know. This is too much speculation on Kong's wife's hands. I do apologize. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you
Inappropriate.
Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I really do appreciate it. And what do we have left? How about here we go.
You're done. You're finished. How dare you? How dare you? You and this left are as good as space dust! Hammy! Kaioken Force! No! beating me?
Dramatic finish!
Thanks again for the super chat. And Tim Hudson, I got my Christmas bonus and already bought 95% of Christmas back in October. That's the way it always works.
Yeah.
Yeah, so small hands are a problem. Big hands are a problem. I think at the end of the day, we have to, or I guess maybe iiRcade has to remember that the focus in my mind, and this is just a singular mind, not a hive mind, is we're trying to simulate or replicate that arcade experience. And if we include games for the sake of adding value, we don't want to impede that experience. And I think that if you kind of crowd the control panel and you got a bunch of stuff going on, it's it's going to detract from that. Watching Michael B's live stream, he was not as angry about it as RGT85 was, but he had the same issue. He likes playing as Homer, but it's not optimal, is what he said. And at $4.99, which is still high, you maybe let that go, but we're talking about $700. I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough. I have to agree with you. I guess it's the same thing before, like, especially if you think $700. What about, if one game is horizontal and the other two are vertical, you would be complaining about the same thing. It's, like if they messed it up imagine if the primary title was in the wrong orientation and you had black bars to accommodate the other two games you don't really care about. We'd complain about that, but this is just buttons.
That's 100. You're on point there, 100%. We've had that same issue with some of these legacy cabinets where we've got the wrong screen orientation, but we added a game because somebody said we needed 12 games. Paperboy on Midway kind of comes to mind, not for screen orientation, but kind of back to the control panel issue. It's not just quantity; it's obviously quality. And I think that if we had more, I don't know. I guess there's someone who's always going to complain, right? It's the amount of games, the compatibility of those games. I'm of the mind where you have iiRcade 1-Up kind of being like an anthology. I've made this comparison before, where you have, like this disc I just showed you. It was Midway Arcade Treasures. It's kind of a greatest hits. It's kind of everything, right? Here's everything they ever had. And then you have Street Fighter, an anthology disc that they made for PS2 was the Alpha anthology. All the Alpha games. That control scheme is exactly the same for all games. So that makes sense within the confines of an iiRcade 1-Up cabinet. So put as many games on there as you want within that same anthology, right? And it all makes sense.
Yep.
But to just kind of throw stuff on there, it's like, what are we doing? We're kind of treading on multi-cade territory. I don't know.
Yep. This is the problem they made, and they did it twice this year. People were asking for Paperboy. People were asking for Defender. So I truly believe people there at iiRcade 1-Up were listening, and they're like, okay, fine. We'll squeeze those games in. But they shouldn't have. Those Defender demands its own cabinet, not a reskin of MK. The Partycade is selling out like crazy because that would have been a sick cabinet on its own. It'd be amazing.
I know you're 100% on point. It's selling out because the control scheme is more accurate than your $449 version.
Yeah,
that is
it's not a coincidence.
It's just a reskin. I mean, that's all it is. It's just a reskin.
People see through it. Some people bought it because they thought, this is my closest thing I'll ever get.
Sure. And maybe that's valid. I mean, it's possible that maybe it is the best you're ever going to get. But I mean, as far as authenticity, I mean, if you're going to call it a Defender cab, that has to be the focus all over, right? Controls, everything has to be. And then you can have other stuff, but you and I both know Defender, there's nothing else you can match with that control scheme. So,
right. Yeah. So what else you got?
I got one more thing.
You got another thing?
And we're gonna dip into iiRcade. And I see you've got a machine to your left, right. I'm sure I don't know what there you go. Right there. I see it. I think they need something. Justin, I think they need something to get people like me to maybe jump in, maybe take the plunge. And I think that's Dreamcast games.
Mm-hmm.
Here's an example of an auction that ended last night. It's Project Justice. I don't know if you're aware of it. If you're a Dreamcast collector, you know that this game, this title, it's tough to get your hands on. This was not
Mhm.
new. It was opened, but it was mint, supposedly. That's what it said in the description. $345 plus, what was it, $8 for shipping or something, $5 shipping. So expensive. The Dreamcast market is expensive. So I think they need a couple things. I think that if the prevailing logic is iiRcade can run Dreamcast,
Right.
then give us some Dreamcast games. Let's see some horsepower. Now, this would probably require the cooperation of Capcom also.
Oh,
So
this
maybe
particular
this,
one, yeah. Hmm.
yeah. So maybe this title, while I think it would work great for the setup, right? This is arcade fighter all the way, right? 3D, and it would kind of sort of jump in front of Arcade One Up as far as a place they haven't been yet, which is a 3D fighter, right? But maybe like a Jet Set Radio. I mean, what do you think?
So I don't know if that would be a dream. So when you say Dreamcast, I think Sega, like it's a Sega cabinet, right? With Sega first
Sure.
title games. Um, that would be if Arcade One Up did it. And it's an interesting thing to bring up Arcade One Up because I think the only thing blocking iArcade is Arcade One Up, and the only thing enabling iArcade is John D. Is in
Right,
my
right,
opinion. So you have
right.
can we talk about the hardware? So can the hardware do it? Right? We
Mhm.
believe so.
Yes.
Is there a Dreamcast commercial emulator out there that they could license? I don't know the answer to that. So,
I don't
like
either, actually.
iArcade, are they going to build
Yeah,
their own emulator? Are they going to use
yeah.
open source? Is it commercially licensable? Because
Sure.
there's a lot of emulators out there that are open source, and it would require iArcade to release their source code to be able to do that game. There's the complications there.
Right.
And the other thing is, if it's Sega first title, it's my opinion, I believe that John D, the only way John will get it is if John says, I'll give it to John. Because
Oh,
Sega's going to want
interesting.
to make their money off of Arcade One Up. Let's say, what's the biggest Dreamcast title? The biggest one. What do you think?
I mean, knee jerk is actually Marvel vs. Capcom 2, but I think that as far as when you think Dreamcast, what do you think of? I think like Sega first titles. Sonic,
Okay.
Adventure 1 and 2, I think 1 maybe more. Shenmue. I think you've got Jet Set Radio, Grind Radio. I think which one's which, and then Crazy Taxi. Those are sort of synonymous with Dreamcast. Maybe they go for Crazy Taxi because they don't want to maybe get the steering wheel for Arcade One Ups. Like, I will pass on that one. I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't know.
So here's how I think it would happen is like, Sega is like, okay, this license is available. And Arcade One Up could do it as well, but if they do it now, they're gonna have to pay more for the hardware because it's just that cabinet that they're
True.
making, you
Yes.
know? And so can basically the Simpsons hardware handle it? It's the Buck Hunter hardware. Could it handle it?
Right.
Or would they have to go one level higher? We know that iArcade could handle it from a horsepower point of view, but I think they could get Dreamcast. And I think they will. This is what Jong's probably doing. He's like, what title that's on the Dreamcast that's not in the next 3 years something that John wants to do, Arcade One Up, that I could get, and John will be like, "Yeah, you can have that one. We're not going to sell that one, right?" Like, and then he'll tick that box. He's like, "We have Dreamcast." He only has to add one really to get people excited.
That's really it. Just the one. Right. I thinking about the iArcade crowd, and I don't really crap on anybody, right? I mean, you like it, go for it, rock on. I haven't seen something from them that says I got to get it yet, but for me, I think that since it's sort of a multi-cade platform, it's not just confined to arcade machines. I'll let a console game slide on an iArcade machine way more than I would an arcade one up.
Makes sense.
So
Yeah.
to move the needle for me, I think if we see a Dreamcast game come out on the platform, and like you said, they can check that box. The icon is there, Dreamcast, and all the marketing
Hmm.
is there. And but I think it's still going to come down to the game itself that we're talking about. While Dreamcast itself is impressive, what are you going to put on it? What Dreamcast game is it going to be? So, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, not going to happen. There's no way that's going to
Hmm.
happen. But could you get Jet Set Radio, Jet Grind Radio? Could you get a Crazy Taxi? Could something like that, big marquee, something that maybe Arcade One Up wouldn't do? Would that move the needle for well, you already have one. I think that would move the needle for me. I think it signals something bigger from them. But that's just
Yeah.
my 2 cents.
When you talk about that, though, I want to say, like, well, what about Polymega? Like, the Polymega is a little console, right? They're starting to ship now.
True.
And they just announced the Nintendo 64 as an emulator. And so you'll be able to bring your own cartridge. So the
Right.
Polymega base is a CD-based system. And Dreamcast is in their list, but they haven't released it because the emulation is complicated.
Right.
And I think they have Sega Saturn. Is that right? I think they only have Sega Saturn, but
Right.
Dreamcast is on their list. So when we're talking about just console games, there's nobody else that's really done Dreamcast at a commercial level. And for iiRcade to be first, that would actually be surprising.
I think
But
so.
if they did it, that would be killer.
I think it would. I think it would definitely move the needle. And I think when you talk about like the Polycade, when you talk about emulation in that console form, I still have a Dreamcast that works perfectly, and I have my library of games.
Mhm.
So I don't think that I'm the minority in that. I think there's still enough consoles out there maybe to satisfy the base, if that makes sense. I don't think that they're that
Yeah.
rare. I don't think they're dying off that
No.
quickly yet. They are kind of thick. They've got some capacitors in there. It's possible we could see the hardware get really scarce, but I don't know that it's there yet. So
No,
I
it's
think
a
when
newer of
yeah.
the consoles. It's a newer one, and they have the GDEMU. That's what I have. It's super popular mod. It's actually, I don't even think you have to solder. I bought it from eBay ready to go, but it's definitely something anyone could do. Because you just replace the what is it? It's an optical drive emulator that takes
It's
an SD card.
and it's just an SD card, right? Exactly. So then
Right.
I
So
mean,
a lot
then
of
you're
people are
set.
playing it that way, and it's bringing whole new life. The first thing that's going to go on your Dreamcast is the optical drive. And there's a readily available solution that's actually been cloned by the Chinese. So there's massive amount of them on the market. So, and they're cheap. They're like $100. So if you want to play Dreamcast games and you're not a collector, it's out there.
You got it. Exactly. So I don't know. I think that I think they could and maybe that's not the thing, the whatever that they need, the feather in their cap that they need to have, but I think that would move the needle for me and maybe a few others to maybe take that, especially when you're talking about this $299 price tag.
Right.
It's like, whoa, this is this could fit, this could work. I could make this fit into my collection. It could fit in the arcade nice, and then offer something maybe a little bit unique, more than just eggs, which is a great game. Which is a great game. Hobby Hands has hit me again for another $2. One major complaint at $700 still, no
Yes.
screw caps.
Yes.
I mean, come on. That's insane. That's crazy. Thank you so much for the $2 super chat. I do appreciate it. Am I out of stuff? Am I out of things to show? You know what? I'm just gonna have to send you to the pit.
Finish him. Molina wins. Flawless victory. Fatality.
Screw caps. I mean, I've
No.
gone as far as to take my screws out and paint the heads like a flat black.
Oh, have you done that?
I've done that, and it helps. I actually did that on the X-Men mod, and it does sort of blend in. But I mean, that's kind of a valid point.
Yeah,
I mean,
Simpsons would be perfect for that.
yes,
You just do the blue, right? That's it.
that's it. Just caps in that color, right? Or whether
Or
it's a
big blue?
decal. I don't know, something, right? I mean, I think it's
Yep.
at this point. And listen, $700, it's valid. I mean, how many times you buy something from IKEA and it's either got the little plastic push-in cover or the sticker that matches the fake wood grain you got on your whatever, it's definitely a thing. And
Let's start a new thing. No caps, no buy. No
Yeah,
screw
there you
caps,
go.
no buy.
Hashtag make it happen. It's a
That's
movement.
right.
we got console fanboy Zohar. What is going on, man? Knowing iiRcade, they would probably put an obscure Dreamcast game on it, like Ooga Booga or Choo Choo Rocket, which are great great games, by the way. Must-haves for any Dreamcast collection. Thank you so
See,
much. for the
Zohar,
super chat.
sometimes he's a troll, and sometimes he's funny. That was just
Sometimes he's
funny.
funny, and sometimes he's right. Here you go, buddy.
Finish him. Finish him. Sub-Zero wins. Flawless victory. Fatality.
The Ooga Booga HD remix is amazing.
Is it? I haven't played that
I-
one.
No, it doesn't exist. I'm just
The I haven't even played the standard one.
Yeah, here we go. Free Ooga Booga.
Oh my gosh. There we go.
Has to happen. Justin, we're at an hour and 21 minutes. What are your final thoughts? What do you think?
Let's see. Thumbgate. I think it's real. I think it's real and it's real funny, but I don't know if it's a reason not to buy. I mean, if you're playing these games, why? If you're buying these arcades to play them, you should. No, I'm kidding. Let's see. What other final thoughts? Let's see. We covered a lot of things tonight. I'm trying to forget where we started.
Actually,
Where
we
did
did.
we start?
So we talked about the Tron reviews,
That's right.
the Thumbgate. It's a real thing for sure. Turtles in Time, $100 off. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? And then iiRcade Dreamcast, maybe.
Okay, here's where I'm at. Simpsons, they made a mistake. They can't fix it, so it is what it is. Tron, buy it if it's a must buy, skip if it's not. Turtles, they're not selling any. What they should do is the ones they haven't sold, reskin those to the normal TMNT so they can push them out the door. Let's see. And Dreamcast will eventually get iiRcade, but it'll be Ooga Booga or whatever.
Ooga Booga, the definitive edition.
There you go.
Oh my gosh, look at that glass. You know what that means.
What the hell?
Yo, the sign is real simple, B. It says wrap it up.
So we're going to wrap this up by taking a look at the poll. So I asked you at the beginning of the stream, now that you've seen it in all of its glory, who's going to buy Tron? 27% say yes, 73% say no. While it does look beautiful, and I don't know that anybody is going to really deny that, it's a feat. Yeah, a little bit of engineering went on there. You've got some additional lit panels, additional connectors on the PCB. There was a lot going on there. Unfortunately, didn't move the needle for 73% of you. I want to say a special thank you to Justin for stopping by the chat, man. Really, really nice that you stopped by, kind of elevate the content here just a little bit. And it's easy, obviously, to have somebody here to kind of bounce stuff off of and give us your take on Thumbgate specifically. It's a real thing, and it's don't let them tell you that you need to game differently. It's just not right. Thank you so much, everybody, for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed your entire Thanksgiving vacation, but you got to get your ass back to work. So I will see